And hello and welcome back. Thank you for joining us. You're watching Let's Talk Personal, and I am your host, Frances Reimers. If you'd like to talk personal with us, and I hope that you do, you can do so on Twitter at LTP Brand Radio or on Instagram at Let's Talk Personal. And I know that you like to talk personally to me because I get your messages every week. You can do so on Instagram at Firestarter CEO or on Twitter at Your Firestarter. We have a super exciting show this week, and one that I have been looking forward to for quite a while because I feel like I have my spiritual animal twin on the show with me this weekend, someone who truly understands personal brand and what it is all about. Shilpi!
Yes.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
so excited to be here.
I have decided because your last name gives me nightmares of saying.
Okay.
I've just decided that you're going to become like Cher, Madonna, or somebody else, and just first name only.
That's good. All my patients say Dr. Shilpi. So
Perfect.
There's no need to even know what my last name is.
Yeah, it's really. I mean,
sorry to my husband.
even though there's a lot of Shilpis.
There are.
There are. When you put it into Twitter, like 80,000 randos come up, and I'm like, no.
Hopefully, only this Dr. Shilpi.
Yeah, Dr. Shilpi.
Yes.
Well, it's a good thing that you put the MD at the end so people can find you.
Exactly.
So, for those of you not in the DMV, in the DC metro area, you probably have not seen this face before, but for those in the DMV, you've probably seen this face before, as you are the frequent medical contributor on Fox 5.
Yes.
But you've got a lot of gigs.
I do.
I want to talk about your main gig first.
Yeah.
You are a licensed physician.
I am, yeah. So I was born and bred in the DC area.
Right.
And, I trained here at the George Washington University School of Medicine. So I went to med school here, and then I went to LA for my training after that. And then while I was in LA, then I started working there. Actually, my first job was at what we call a community clinic. So it's like uninsured, underinsured.
Right.
And then
good times, I'm sure.
It was, I learned so much, and it was all Spanish speaking in downtown LA, so my Spanish got a lot better.
I'm sure it let the sink or swim.
It did. I mean, I can only say, like, does your stomach hurt? I'm not very good at being, like, ordering things on menus. So that part is not good.
Does your stomach hurt?
Yeah.
But you can't order a
No,
chimichanga.
not at all. No, that, like, you have to use Google for that but I can tell, like, oh, you're having blood pressure problems. Okay.
Right.
So
I
did
were
that.
you there? How long were you there in that space?
So I was there for about 3 years, and then my husband and I are both from this area, from the DC area. So we came back here to be closer to family, and at the point I was going to have my first baby, so then I joined a group practice here, and so I do see patients, and then in addition, as you were mentioning, also do stuff on Fox 5, and I have my book coming out, so I'm doing a lot of different things.
So notice there are a lot of narratives that are being woven in today's show, and she's blazing through these, so we're going to dial it back, go back 2 notches.
Yes.
So when you were in LA, so is LA where you kind of got the bug to expand your brand? Where did that... the root of all of these hats that you wear, where did that start?
So I think that LA is a great place for that. It's so much creative energy, and people are all about, the industry is TV and film and all different kinds of content. So I think it's a great place to kind of have this idea come to life.
Right.
But the reality is patients would ask me all the time, friends would ask me all the time for medical advice, and so I thought, the best way that I can answer these questions is by doing something maybe on air, and especially by chance at that time I was doing, I think it was cold and flu season, and so there was a flu shot segment that I did where I actually gave a live flu shot on air in LA, I think on Good Day LA or Good Day LA.
Right.
And then that was so popular that then, I started doing more on camera and more just general medical health topics, because there's a lot of misinformation, and patients will come and say, I read this online, or, Goop told me that I should only have milk from cows that came from this region of the world. And so sort of going through all of that and just giving them the right information is really important to me. And so that was a way that I started to connect with a bigger audience.
Right. And I know that for you, preventative medicine is a huge part of your personal platform, and it's kind of the direction that most healthcare is going, and because it's actually less expensive to the larger population to keep people healthy than it is to handle them when they're sick. So from a preventative medicine standpoint, what are some things that people should do, should think about to keep themselves well, especially this time of year?
So, of course, just establishing a relationship with a personal physician. I think there's a lot of people that, for whatever reason, they may not even have health insurance, or they don't utilize it. They don't have that relationship with somebody that's responsible for you. Take the burden off of yourself and make a relationship with your primary care doctor, because that is going to be your advocate. That is going to be the person that really helps you to navigate your health and figure out what you need to work on, but also encourage you and say, hey, you're not just accountable to yourself, but I'm going to help you. So I think meeting with somebody like that is really important. And then I think just the other preventative things, so like going to the dentist. I'm not great at that myself, but these are all things, doctors are really bad patients. But these are all important things. Establishing that relationship with your primary care doctor, getting your regular checkups, and then also really doing an audit of your own life and goals in terms of health, right? So if you're saying, I seem pretty at a healthy weight, but it turns out I'm actually eating a lot of junk. Maybe one of your goals is going to be to drink more water. So just doing that and setting small goals is a great place to start.
You mentioned something really quickly about going to the dentist. I think a lot of people don't know, and obviously I am not a doctor, I just play one on TV, but a lot of people don't realize that by not going to the dentist, you're actually putting yourself at risk for heart disease. That's correct?
So that is true in that a lot of the bacteria that's in the mouth, if let's say you develop a cavity or, God forbid, an abscess, something that requires a root canal, that bacteria that's in your mouth can actually seed into your blood and then create infection widespread. And sometimes for people that have underlying heart disease, that's a real problem. So it's not just the mouth, right? The mouth is very important. I'm not a dentist, but I know that my colleagues that are dentists would say that good health does start from the mouth, and I think to some degree that's true.
I think a lot of people don't realize that your eye doctor, your dentist can help identify, going to your yearly eye exam, going to the dentist at least once a year can help actually prevent a lot of other things happening down the road.
Totally. I mean, when I do a physical, I do head to toe, but when I say open up your mouth, the first question I ask is, when's the last time you went to the dentist? And if not, make sure you make that appointment. So dentist, eye exam, as I said, just get all that stuff out of the way. It's January. You'll be way ahead of the curve. And then the other thing is, you have these plans with deductibles and things like that, so you kind of know what you have left to spend, and you set yourself up for success from a health perspective.
And I think a lot of people don't recognize either that when you get your yearly exam, things like cholesterol tests and checking your iron levels and these kinds of things. Checking, especially for women, if I'm correct, again, I'm not a doctor, but for women, your iron level and your, vitamin D is really important, because that plays a role in depression and kind of your mental well-being. And so in
that's
an
totally
checkup,
right. Yeah, preventative medicine, we focus solely on that for part of the physical when you go to see your doctor. So we're going to talk about, when should you be getting a mammogram? When should you be getting a colonoscopy if you're at that age? Talking about your family history, just getting all of that information out on paper in one place, and take that burden, like I said, off of you and put it on your doctor. Say, hey, you tell me when I need to get my mammogram. You tell me, do I need a pee in a cup? Maybe. So
who knows? We don't know.
You never know. Right. Exactly. So those are all important things, and establishing that relationship is a good idea. In terms of the vitamin D, that is something that a lot of us are deficient in, and I talk about that in my book, which we're going to talk about, is that also we see all these claims like, I need vitamin D, I need ginseng, I need 50 other supplements. Do you really need that? I don't think so, but we'll talk about that if you're in the doctor-patient relationship or as you read the book.
You're absolutely right. It is important for you to establish this relationship with your primary care doctor, because I think a lot of people, when they go and see your doctor, your checkup with your doctor is only as good as how honest you are with what is going on in your life.
That's totally right.
If you have an established relationship with your doctor, you might be a little more honest about the aches, the pains, your habits, that absolutely can play a huge impact on your overall health. And being open and honest with your doctor is huge.
Totally. And find somebody that you vibe with. I mean, this is an important person in your life, even if you don't see them. And I hope you're not seeing your doctor every month. I mean, unless they're helping you for something specific. But it is important to find somebody that you really gel with. If they don't understand your lifestyle and they're not going to be, receptive to that and help tailor solutions for you, then that might not be the right fit. I mean, I'm not going to go to a doctor who's 75 and a male because maybe they don't understand my lifestyle. Just like you might not see that very young male doctor or female that doesn't understand what you're going through. So there are a lot of doctors out there. Just find the right fit for you. And then once you do vibe, like you said, be honest. I mean, if you drink 2 drinks a night, fine. But if you drink 17 drinks on Saturday and Sunday, then
completely by yourself.
That you should also be honest with them because we can help avoid problems that happen because of those type of health decisions.
I mean, I will fully admit that I don't have a full-on relationship with my primary care doctor, but I've been going to the same OBGYN for the past 15 years, and I have her personal cell number and can text her at any time, morning, noon, or night. And even though she's not a primary care doctor, I have reached out to her occasionally for things that are totally out of her jurisdiction. But she's still a medical doctor. She knows. So it's good to have a relationship with a doctor that you feel like you can talk to. And the same thing with your pharmacist. If you're going to somewhere to get your prescriptions filled and that sort of thing, go to the same one and start building a relationship with them. Your healthcare is totally up to you.
I agree. And that's the biggest point, is that you have the power to change your health, take control of your health, and there's a lot of people out there to assist you on that journey. But at the end of the day, you have to first make that step to say, I'm going to get all of these people on my team and help me get where I'm going.
I think a lot of people, they feel that the medical system or the healthcare system is so large and they're really just like a cog in the wheel. And I think people need to be reminded, especially if you're having healthcare issues, is one, there's healthcare advocates out there that you can tap into. Your insurance company probably has people that you can use free of charge to help you with your medical journey. Or if you have, like, especially aging parents, people that can help be there if you physically cannot with your aging parents. But your health care is up to you. You're a doctor. Your experience is completely yes, the healthcare system is very large and complex, but it's your body and it's your life. And if you need you need to step up and play an active role in your own healthcare, I think is a big thing that people forget about.
That is really important. And the earlier you start, the better off you will be, because then you're going to prevent, as we said, preventative care. You're going to prevent a lot of these problems down the road. And I think that's the best thing you can do for yourself. Prevention is always better than cure, my dad used to say.
Absolutely. And so transitioning to this book that we've kind of teased out a little bit, you have written a book. Apparently it was like pulling teeth, but you wrote this book. So, and it is about prevention and care. Talk a little bit about this book. What is it?
It is. So it's called The 10-Day Total Body Transformation, and it is a doctor's guide. So it's a doctor's guide to getting leaner, cleaner, and happier in just 10 days.
10 days.
Yeah. So to some people that seems like a little bit. To some people that seems like a lot.
No, for someone like me who has ADHD and that's perfect. I can handle 10 days.
No, and that's good. That's the point. So, I've really kind of, as we've talked, dedicated my life to helping people get to their healthiest body, healthiest mindset. And so me providing this information, it just really inspired me to write this book and put down on paper what I'm always talking to friends about, what I'm always talking to patients about, and make it a really easy to understand, digestible source for people to say, okay, I don't want to cut out 10 days of my life and drink, lemon juice with cayenne pepper and do that, because that's not a sustainable way to lose weight. So being a physician, I've utilized the medical knowledge, but then also made it really easy and friendly and fun to follow this plan. So people are going to get the tips to redo their nutrition, because they're going to not just learn, okay, what do I eat for breakfast, but kind of why you eat certain things for breakfast. So important to give you that nutritional information. Then exercise, we talk a little bit about that in the book in terms of finding what's good for you. I give you 3 exercise things that I personally love to do. And then being mindful and focusing a lot on yourself. I know that's a big message out there, right? Like you'll go on Instagram or Twitter and it'll say, live, laugh, love, right? Like, but I mean, are you really doing that?
No,
I don't
most
know,
people aren't,
right?
no.
People aren't, or they're seeing other people live, laugh, love, right?
Right.
So it talks a lot about introspection and
Right.
how to improve yourself, what to focus on in terms of what you have to offer, which
Right.
you and I have that in common, right?
Right.
Figure out what you have to offer and figure out what you're really passionate about and work on that.
And particularly in that little nugget, because I can, and we've talked about this, in the past year of growing my business, there have been moments in this past year where I've literally just been like meltdown, and it's really hard to have self-care when you have a much larger agenda in front of you.
Totally.
Raising kids, growing a practice, growing a business, what have you.
Yep.
So what's a little tidbit in there for folks that are just like, I have so much here. How do I practice mindfulness? Where does that even start?
Yeah. So I think one of the best ways to do that is I'm a pen and paper kind of girl. So I always write things down. I of course use my phone all the time, but pen and paper is really where I can get my thoughts down and get rid of all of the background noise.
Yes.
So with that in mind, gratitude is something I talk about a lot. And so it's so easy to say, man, this is really not working out well for me. I suck at this. I'm not doing this well.
Yes.
But then you realize there's a lot of things that you are doing well, or just a lot of things that you take for granted. So I think first, writing down maybe 2 or 3 things that you're really grateful for, right? Like you're really grateful you are your own boss, or you're really grateful that you have a roof over your head, that you can pay your water bill. But those are all really important things to first start and remind yourself.
Right.
And then beyond that, I think just really listing out your goals, designing a roadmap for where you want to go for your goal or in life in general is a really great place to start.
I listen to, I'm a collector of intelligence. I'm a little sponge. And so I listen to a lot of different podcasts of, business leaders and people from all crazy walks of life. But one thing that I consistently see across the board, some of the most successful people and success varies, right? Everyone's got kind of a different definition of success. To me, the definition of success is that you're living the life that you want to live.
Yep.
Whether you're, balling out on a yacht with some crystal, and if that's your best life,
nice.
then go on. Or maybe your best life is just having just enough, like a nice house in a nice neighborhood where you can raise some kids and you don't have to worry about where you're getting money for Christmas.
Right.
Everyone's definition of success is different. But what I see across the board is that everyone talks of what you just mentioned, which is this concept of gratitude. Looking at the glass half full rather than half empty.
Yeah.
One thing that I've definitely adopted over this past year is it's going to work out.
Yes.
I will completely throw myself under the bus. I am not a glasses half full kind of gal. I'm usually a half empty kind of gal. But over the past year, there's just so many things in life that are completely out of your control.
Totally.
I can't control if clients are going to call me back. I can't control if clients will pay me until it goes to collection. I can't control if, a new segment that I'm on is either going to blow up or flop. Like, we can't control these things. And so just taking the concept that it's all going to work out.
Yeah.
And it usually does, really.
Yeah.
Like, if you the more you try to control something, the more that it kind of, suffocates.
May not go. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And I think that if you put in the hard work, if you put in the good vibes, it's going to take you down the path that was meant for you, you know? And I really believe that. And if something didn't happen for you when you thought it was going to happen for you, maybe that wasn't meant for you at that time.
Right. And yeah, everything does happen for a reason. And there's been many times where I've been like, okay, well, I'm ready for the reason.
Yeah.
Like, what was the reason?
Like, so I'm waiting here.
I'm waiting. Like, I'm totally okay with the outcome, but what was the reason? Sometimes we never know.
Yep.
Sometimes we never get the answer to why did the basket not go in? Why did that job not go through? Why did that guy not call me back? Like, sometimes we never get the answer.
Yeah.
But you have to go to bed at night with the not knowing. I think a lot of people, we live in a world where people want that instant gratification always.
Yep.
And they want the answer always.
Yeah.
And I think part of gratitude is the acceptance in the not knowing.
Totally. And that you can only control what you can control, right?
Right.
And it's hard. We have social media, so you're seeing a lot of different things come at you so quickly, and it's very easy to focus on what you don't have
Right.
or
Yes.
go down the wrong path. And
Right.
so that's why I think it's important to kind of also use social media the right way.
Yes, it's absolutely
You know,
true.
don't if it's hurting you more than it's helping you,
Yes.
then maybe you need to take a break from it.
Well, I tell people, the holidays are rough for people,
Mm-hmm.
and it affects people mentally, physically. People, go, a lot of self medication during the holidays for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
And people, I had a few people email me offline during the holidays and say, I hate the holidays because of social media. What
Right.
can I do? And I'm like, turn it off.
Yeah.
Turn it off.
I think taking a break from social media is totally fine.
It's totally
Especially if
fine.
it coincides with that time where you're deciding what's good for you, what are your goals, maybe really examining what you want to achieve,
Right.
or just figure out how can you be happier. And
Right.
happier is being happy in general is kind of a complicated thing, but
Yes.
a lot of it
But it's a
comes back
self-choice.
to exactly you can make the decision to do
Right.
that, and a lot of it comes back to I think gratitude and self-reflection and contentment, and
Right.
it's not that easy to achieve these days. But again, you can use I think social media is amazing,
Right.
but I think it can be bad if you
Right.
don't sort of audit yourself and say, am I using it correctly or is it hurting me?
Right. But back to your book, when is it officially coming out and where will people be able to get it?
So March 1st officially, but in just a
Ooh.
couple of weeks, we're going to have it on pre-sale
Okay.
for Amazon and then hopefully bookstores locally and Barnes
Okay.
& Noble and places where books are sold.
And are we going to see you out and about signing and,
Yes, yeah.
and kissing babies and hugging the peoples?
Yeah, I love babies, so obviously-
clearly.
yeah, I have to. But no, I hope to promote the book and
Right.
talk more about it. Really meet people out there that I hope the book can help because
Right.
that is my goal.
Right.
Women particularly, the book is really geared towards women,
Right.
but it can help
But
anybody.
anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyone.
And so if you are struggling with not just weight, this is a
Right.
self-help book and it focuses on getting to a healthy body, mind.
Right.
But it's not just weight. I mean, you will lose weight. All the testers that have done the program are losing weight, so that's an added bonus. But
Good.
you're going to learn, I hope, a lot about yourself,
Right.
about nutrition, how to implement these tools very easily in your life. So it's
Right.
not going to be hard after the 10 days for you to say, okay, you know what? I learned a lot from Dr. Shilpy's book. I'm going to go to the grocery store now, and I kind of know what to put in my cart, as
Right.
opposed to, this is really easy. It's packaged. Let's turn in the microwave and put that meal in
Right.
and have that same thing, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's going
Right.
to give you options. It's going to make you realize why sleep, exercise is so important for you.
Yes.
Easy things that, as you mentioned, comes all back to self-care.
Right. Sleep is such a huge thing. And
Mm-hmm.
the older I get, the more I realize that I have to have my sleep.
Yep.
I've actually, on my phone, I have a sleep timer.
Oh, yeah.
So an alarm goes off when it's time for me to go to bed.
Uh-huh.
An alarm goes off when it's time for me to get up. And I'm
Yeah.
kind of training my body it has to go to sleep at this time.
Yes.
It has to wake up at this time.
Right.
Because I just can't make it through my day if I'm not well
rested,
And
yeah.
I can feel it.
Totally. And the other thing is that we look at all the research and studies.
Yeah.
People who don't sleep enough, they have problems with memory.
Yes.
They actually don't lose weight. They tend to gain weight because your body during sleep is when it restores and recuperates, and
Right.
that can help you with weight loss.
Right.
And then you're much more efficient with all the things you have to get done during the day if you
Right.
sleep properly.
Right. Going back to the book creation, for those out there who are like, "Oh, I'm going to write a book."
Yeah. You should.
Yeah, I know. Ugh.
You should.
I
mean,
started
it's
writing.
hard.
I started, and I was like, "Yeah." How long did the process take? Like, what did you do? Like, I mean, it's different for everybody.
Yeah,
but what was your?
It's very
process?
different. It's been an idea that I've had since I really started practicing, so more than 5 years ago, and then I really started putting ideas down on paper maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and collecting information, doing a lot of research.
Right.
I think the actual process took more than a year for the writing and the editing and all of that. And then you do some fun stuff, designing your cover
Right.
and all of that, but the actual process takes a while. I think you really do have to have focus and have
Right.
good people behind you.
Right.
But it's a very gratifying experience, and you learn so much by writing. You learn more
Right.
about topics that you're interested in, but when you're teaching people through your book,
Yes.
you learn an infinite amount. I've read
Right.
so many studies now about supplements and sleep and
Right.
nutrition. And so for me, it was a great educational process too.
And did you feel pressure, given the fact that you're on TV and you are a licensed physician?
Yeah.
Did you feel a little bit of, when you're putting something in the book, you're like, okay, were you a little like gun shy about any sort of blowback or any sort of what would come on you from maybe your peers?
Yeah. So one of the things you'll know about me as you get to know me and people who watch me is I just really am, I say it like it is.
Right.
And, I try.
The viewers of this show
I say
know.
it like it is.
Yeah.
And, that's my personality. I'm
Right.
not shy about saying that
Right.
I do watch medical shows. I do read medical stuff, but I watch Bravo and Real
Right.
Housewives. I like pop culture. So I add in some things about pop culture because
Right.
that's what's relevant and that's how people are getting their information.
Yes.
So I can tell it to you in a snoozy way and say, well, in 2017, 45 people were tested and this is the
Right.
outcome. Or, you know what? Like the reason that people shouldn't be putting collagen in certain places is because these are the studies. That's relevant to
Right.
people. So for me, I'm very honest in the
Right.
book. I try to make it very relatable. I'm honest about things I struggle with. For the longest time, I was really addicted to diet soda, Diet Coke, Coke
Right.
Zero, and it became such a bad habit that I couldn't go throughout the day without, it was like drugs, I couldn't go throughout the day without my Coke Zero, and then I would have 1, 2, sometimes 3 Coke Zeros. It was getting out of hand.
Right.
And I'm really honest about that in the book, and I tell you, I did all this research and realized how bad diet soda is for you, and so
Right.
you'll learn things like that, and I think if you're not honest, it's hard for people to believe you.
And I think we all have that. I mean, coffee is definitely a vice of mine. I have literally 18 cups a day. I love it. I think my coffee maker in my house is the most used device in the house. It is, but I think we get into automatic. And we have to find a way to stop the automatic.
Yep.
We have to slow down our lives a little bit. And I think one of the I was actually sharing this with someone the other day, one of the joys for me of working from home is that I've been able to control the pace of my day.
Yeah.
So I'm not rushing out the door anymore in the mornings.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not, unless I have a meeting or something, but I know that's coming, so you plan it. But
Right.
I'm not rushing out the door. I'm not sitting in rush hour traffic.
Yep.
I'm not doing all of these things. So I've been able to kind of slow down the pace of my life. And it's really gotten a lot of bad habits. I don't eat fast food hardly anymore.
Yeah,
And,
that's great.
my coffee consumption has gone down. My alcohol consumption has not, but that probably will never be.
But you're honest with your doctor about that.
I am honest with my doctor about
Yeah.
it. Like, my doctor knows, like, I don't smoke.
Right.
I don't do drugs. Alcohol is really the only vice I have out there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, what? You can't get mad at me about that.
Right.
I'm probably going to live forever because evil doesn't die. But, but I think if we learn to control the pace of our lives, I think that is a big thing. But a lot of people don't feel like they have control over the pace of their lives. We do, but a lot of people don't think that we do.
Yeah.
And when I did have a paying job,
You still do?
I still do. I would get up early in the morning, and people would be like, "Why do you get up so early?" It's because I like to start the pace of my day on my terms.
Right.
I would get up at 6 a.m. even though I didn't need to be in the office until 9, because I liked starting out my morning on a slow roll.
Yeah.
I think when people find their pace, we are able to rid ourselves of crutches. The Coke is a crutch. The coffee is a crutch.
Exactly.
Because we just need to be doing something.
Yeah, I think that it really, when you read the book, you're going to really realize that it helps you to learn so much about yourself.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest goal for people, because I myself didn't know, many things about my own habits.
Right.
And I've had a lot of changes in the last 3 or 4 years. I had 2 kids.
Right.
Many things were changing for me. So I think I picked up bad habits along the way, and I say doctors are the worst patients, but in some ways they really are. I
Right.
was not eating breakfast. I would see 5 or 6 people and then realize, oh man, I have 2 minutes. Let me just grab something. And then I'd go to the office kitchen and it was donuts were there or pastries. And
Right.
that's not the more you do something, the more it becomes a habit.
Right.
And that same way you can change things. So giving you this information, telling you to really take a critical look at what you're doing in your life and make small, easy changes is the goal of the book, and I think you should have fun doing it. So it's easy to understand. You don't need a PhD to understand all of this nutrition.
Right.
As Michelle Obama says, right?
Yes.
Nutrition labels.
Happy birthday, Michelle Obama.
Happy birthday, Michelle Obama. I saw that today too. I love Michelle Obama.
I love her.
Yeah, they're the cutest couple. But that you don't need that kind of studying and degree to understand nutrition. It should be an attainable concept, and that is really the point of the book. I want you to learn about nutrition, make some smart choices, but just a few can make a big impact. Right? If when I quit diet soda, I felt so much better. 5 days, it was very hard for those 5 days.
You were probably
now I
unbearable
drink
for those 5 days.
Probably. Now I drink sparkling water, or I replace it with something. For a while, I just didn't have time for exercise, even though I love fitness, I love exercise, but I just lost that part of my life because I was busy. And then when I got back to it, I thought, man, I will never give up exercise again because this is therapy for me. Mentally, it's the break that keeps me sane.
And, for me, I don't, everyone who knows me knows that I don't really enjoy exercise at all. But whenever I feel myself kind of in a creative rut, I go to the gym. For whatever reason, it's that taking me out of my daily environment and putting me, I don't know if my brain is like, haha, you can't write anything down. You can't do anything because you're running or doing something else. That my brain is like, haha, now I'm going to get all creative. But I love it. And I just use the notes function on using my microphone. And when I'm at the gym, people probably think that I, have multiple personalities or something, because it's
whatever works.
Right, because it's not uncommon for me to be on the stair step or on the treadmill at the gym, literally talking into my phone, like writing full paragraphs for a blog piece or something for one of my clients, because it's just removing yourself. But I also think the blood flow, getting blood back into your brain, getting just your circulation moving, I think is good for you physically as well as mentally.
Exactly. It serves so many purposes, and you guys are going to find the right exercise. I talk about a lot of different types of exercises you can do. You're not a runner, that's okay. And that's another way you can use social media. It's so amazing that you can go on to Twitter or Instagram and see these whole programs that are there that they tell you exactly what to do. And if you search enough on Instagram, I mean, you can find amazing fitness inspiration. Anything really, but you can find amazing fitness inspiration. And it's not just, us mere mortals. Like, celebrities do that too. You see celebrities following Kayla Itzina's for Bikini Body Guide, or somebody doing, Insanity with Shaun T. So there's a lot of stuff out there. I mean, your excuse should not be, well, I don't know what to do. I mean, come on.
And experiment.
Yeah, try different things.
I don't like to run, but a girlfriend of mine is a amazing marathon runner. She does, I think, like 80 million a year, and she conned me into doing one with her in Vegas. I was like, you can do the full one, I'll do a half. That's enough.
Oh, just a half.
Just
just
half.
13 miles.
Yeah, just 13 miles when I've never even ran like a 5K before in my life. I threw out my back in the training, but still ended up running the race. But I will never do that again. But I love the fact that I did that. I can check it off the list. And during the whole race, thanks to, voice dictation, I wrote like 8 articles in the span.
This is like the queen of multitasking.
Because
I'm like running and just trying to like increase the volume on my channel, on my show.
But I was running, and I was I'm a person that I get inspiration. I get inspiration of, a dress somebody is wearing, or, I hear something on TV and I'm like, oh, that's a good hook. Literally, as I was running through the streets of Las Vegas in this half marathon, I mean, it's Vegas, so there's signs, there's lights, there's people. And so as I was running, I'm like, oh my God, that would be such a good blog. Oh my God, this client needs to connect with this person. Like,
there you go. You got a lot of inspiration in different ways.
I was running. I got to the end. I literally could not feel my legs, but we still dressed up and went out and partied that night like rock stars. But I was so happy because on the plane ride back to DC from Vegas, I literally had like 3 pages of creative things. But at the end, I was like, marathon running is not for me.
We'll not be doing that again.
We will not be doing that again. We're going to go back to Zumba class or whatever the case may be. But what the thing is experiment.
Yeah. And I think that's great, right? Like you use working out to become physically healthy, but then you also use it to do creative things.
Yes.
I mean, I personally use working out to completely turn my brain off.
Yeah.
I have a rule. I love watching TV. If you know me, I love watching TV, but I will only watch TV if I'm exercising. That's my rule.
Oh,
so
that's a good rule.
thank goodness for DVR, because I watch all my Bravo
Housewives.
shows,
Yes.
Housewives. I'm really into. I love $1 Million Listings.
Yes.
LA is the big one right now.
Yes.
So, and I used to live there, so I
Yes.
feel connected. But I will never watch any of those shows, Kardashians, unless I am working out.
I am a huge addict of Housewives of Atlanta. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, of all of the Housewives series, that one's, I don't know.
They're very entertaining.
They are very entertaining.
Yeah, and they say it like it is, so I like that.
For some reason, I self-identify with them a lot more than all the rest of the Housewives. And also, I was in Atlanta on a business trip once and saw Nene Leakes in a restaurant and probably assaulted her. I was like, and had a total fan moment. And by the way, she was super cool. She had no makeup on. She looked like she just rolled out of bed. I think her and her husband were just coming into this restaurant to pick up food and leave.
Oh, okay.
And I totally but she was so cool about it. She was
nice.
She was like, I want to stand here and talk to you, but we're not taking any pictures. I was like, totally.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, don't you love that though, when celebrities you meet are really nice? Because if they're not nice, it's
you never forget that.
Yeah, exactly.
So brand moment. I have had 2 different celebrity. You see celebrities all the time. I see celebrities all the time. I work with celebrities. And I tell my clients all the time, like, even if you're on your worst day, you're not feeling it, you try to mitigate the circumstance as best as you can, because the second that fan has a negative experience with you, they will never forget it, and they will most likely tell everybody they know about it. And I had one bad experience with someone I won't name, but I was a huge fan.
Yeah.
And I got to meet them in person, and he was absolutely the biggest jerk I've ever met in my life. And so I completely disengaged.
So you're totally turned off of that.
Totally turned off. Told everybody I knew at the time about the encounter, and I'm like, what a jerk. But the Nene thing, she was totally cool. But honestly, I think this is one of the first times I've ever talked publicly about it. But it was such a good experience.
Yeah.
People always talk about the negative, not about the good. And so I always tell clients that you can literally destroy your brand in a millisecond with a fan interaction that goes south.
Yeah, for sure. Being nice to people always gets you far in life, and I think everyone deserves that. You don't know what somebody's going through in their life. Maybe meeting you, even if you're not, you don't have to be a celebrity. If you're just nice to somebody in the grocery store, I think that niceness breeds niceness, and being a good person always takes you very, very far.
Very true.
Life.
I was just at the mall today getting my hair cut, and this woman, she had a stroller. And she's standing there at the bottom of the stairs with this stroller. I assume she was waiting for somebody to pick her up. I get down to the bottom of the stairs, and she turns to me, and she's like, is there a ramp anywhere? And I was like, no. I was like, are you trying to get upstairs to your car?
Yeah.
And she was like, no, I'm just trying to get in the building. And she's like, this is my first time. She just had a baby. She's like, I just had this baby. This is my first.
I know the feeling.
Right. She's like, this is my first time out of the house with the stroller and the kid and the whole 9.
Oh my gosh, that's such a scary time, too, when you first get out of the house.
She was very nervous. You could tell she was very nervous. And I was like, you're just wanting to go inside?
Yeah.
She's like, yes. I'm like, I will help you.
Yeah.
Here, let me pick up the other end of the stroller and get you up these stairs.
You probably made her day,
She was very thankful. She was very thankful.
Truthfully, when you're a new mom, it's very hard,
it's rough.
And
I
then,
don't know, but I assume.
It's hard, right? Any moms out there can relate. It's very hard. It's very hard to balance things, but particularly when you're a new mom, you don't want to do the wrong thing. You want to make sure that you keep your baby safe. Right. You actually don't even know if what you're doing is the right thing because you have nothing to go off of. So you made her day. See, you're such a good person.
I try. Well, because people are just so nasty.
Yeah.
Just so nasty. She was just trying to get up the stairs. Took 2 seconds and helped the lady up the stairs with her stroller.
That's very nice.
Because it was icy, too, and it was gross. But, yes, you're right. Niceness does breed niceness, and a lot of people just aren't nice.
Yes.
Or I think, I think one thing on that very topic, actually just last week with my guest band men, we were talking about, breeding kindness.
Yes.
And somebody wrote me an email after the show and they were like, thank you for bringing this up. I don't think we talk about breeding kindness enough.
I don't think we talk about it enough. And
Right.
it's partly because people get so wrapped up in their day-to-day, right?
Yes.
And they might not even realize that they're being rude or they're
Right.
just not being friendly.
Right.
I'm sure maybe I've had moments where I just got to get from A to B.
Right.
But if you really are conscious about it and say, okay, I'm going to maybe smile at somebody, I'm going to maybe hold the door open for a little bit longer,
Right.
then it really goes a long way and actually
It does.
makes you feel good inside, you
It
know?
does.
So, and I have little kids, so I try to
Right.
teach them, like, yeah, you should hold the door open if you can. I mean,
Right.
usually he can't
Right. They're
do the
tiny.
weight of the
Right.
door.
Yeah, you would
But
do it with
yeah,
the door.
if someone holds it for us, a lot
Right.
of people are so nice and they hold doors for us. You have to
Right.
say, thanks for holding the door. You know,
Right.
just some of those common courtesies I think are getting lost.
I think they are.
We're on our phones a lot,
always
right?
on our
So,
phones, always
yeah.
on our phones, and I'm definitely guilty of always being on my phone. But I think people, we're always like, people are so busy, they're so busy, they're so busy.
Mm-hmm.
I've started getting mindful about using the phrase "I'm busy."
Yeah.
Like, if somebody asks me directly, how's business? Saying I'm busy or it's good, okay, that's
Yep.
appropriate. But any other time, I'm really trying to kind of remove that term
Yeah.
from my daily lexicon
Right.
because people are starting to use "I'm busy" rather than getting to what it is that really needs to be said. I think people are like, "Oh my God, I'm so busy," blah blah blah. No, it just wasn't a priority.
Yeah.
You're not that busy.
Right.
You had plenty of time to watch, a 2.5-hour football game or, go to the spa
Right.
for the afternoon
Yeah.
or, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You didn't respond to the email or the text message or you didn't do what you said that you would do because it wasn't a priority.
Yeah.
So we need to stop saying "I'm busy."
You're busy, yeah.
When, I said this to a girlfriend, not because she didn't do something, but we were just talking about this topic. And she was like, "Okay, Miss Brand, what are we supposed to say instead?"
Yeah. What are we supposed to say?
Well,
Frances?
let me tell you.
If you are busy or you accidentally miss a text or an email, what do you say?
I'm honest.
Yeah.
If somebody sent me a text and I don't respond, and then I respond later, it probably is I did see the text and I
Yeah.
got pulled away by something else. I got
That
distracted.
happens all the time. I think
Happens all
especially
the
because
time.
text is such a common mode of communication now.
Yes.
I'm not a phone person really.
No.
I'm much more of a text person because it's easier. I
Yeah,
think
it is easier.
That's really bad to say. My mom would be upset that I said that, but it is easier
Well.
because. In their era, they called and they
Yes.
said, "Would you like to come over to my house for dinner?"
Yes.
No, like, "Hey,
Just text
are you
me.
guys free on Saturday? Like, bring the kids over
Right.
or whatever." That's the
Right.
way that we communicate now. But you're right. I think you have to really still not lose the norms of human decency.
Right. Well, I mean, and things happen. Like a text comes in, you saw it, you read it.
Yes.
But then your phone rang the second that you read it, or an email from a client that you've been waiting for 6 months finally popped up in you, and so you get
And you
pulled.
say, "Yay."
You get pulled away. So when that happens to me, I'm usually like, like the other day, an email that I had thought I had sent to somebody was literally sitting in my outgoing box. And I saw it and I was like, "Oh my God." And I called myself out on it in the email. I was like,
Yeah.
"This has literally been sitting in my outgoing box for a week. I am so sorry. This is why you haven't heard from me."
So you're honest about it.
I try to be as
Yeah.
honest as possible, again, because I think because of our lives and the fact that we're being pulled in a lot of different directions, I think now more than ever, we need to let people know where they stand in our lives. If you're friends, be friends. If you miss somebody, call them. If you
Yeah.
want to see them, let them know. If you love somebody, tell them. If you want to meet up, do so.
Yeah.
If you're not happy with the business or whatever, tell them. Like, I think social media was meant to connect us, but I think it's pulling us away, and we're not really being honest and direct in our conversations.
Yeah. It seems like when you're on social media, it's so easy to think you're up to speed on certain people's lives, but sometimes you're not actually connecting in real life.
Right.
So I think that is important, is to actually make that real life connection. And
Right.
Again, in my book, I talk a little bit about that specific thing where it's you've got certain friendships, you've got relationships that are really important to you, but don't forget to identify those relationships and say, hey, I'm just sending you a message to check in with you because you're important to me, or I'm so sorry you don't like this term. I'm sorry I've been busy, but you really have been busy. And so I just wanted to catch up. I think that giving that personal attention is really important as opposed to just a like or a comment, because you can get lost in that. And in the same way, if there are relationships that are not serving you, I think you should just kind of, I'm not big for confrontation unless it's really going to help you, but if it's not working for you or someone's legitimately being problematic for you, either don't engage with them or don't make that a source of your brain space, because your brain space is really valuable. And so you shouldn't be dwelling on that, I think.
No. I have a saying that I've used for the majority of my life, which is whoever cares the least wins. And so if somebody is not serving you, and this is not being selfish or rude, but if a relationship is not serving you, that person is probably not losing sleep over the fact that you're worried that this relationship is not serving you. So drop it and move on.
Exactly.
And you're not a bad person for being like, I gotta roll out.
Right.
But I did find it very interesting, and I actually was talking about this a couple of weeks ago here at the station before we came on air, is I noticed right around the holidays, because it's the beginning of the new year and people are, but I saw a lot of people posting about how, I'm getting rid of toxic people in the new year.
I see a lot of those posts.
And I was like, I reached out to one person in particular, and because they made such a production. I mean, they did it across all their social media channels that they were removing all the toxic people from their life. And I reached out.
How do people accumulate so many toxic people?
That's what I would like to know.
Maybe I don't have enough friends or something, but I don't have, that's really interesting that they had to have a whole post for that.
They did it across all social media channels, and I follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and it was across the board.
Yeah.
And I reached out to them offline, of course, and I was like, look, I don't know what's going on in your world.
Yeah.
I was like, but rather than damage your brand by looking like a crazy, by saying across your social media platforms that you're removing all these toxic people, why don't you reach out to the person that this is really directed towards?
Sure.
And either mend the fence or shut the door.
I think that's great advice, And
if you have to broadcast it?
No, I think that's great advice. I mean, or I think also just making an effort to spend time with people that are bringing out the best in you, or having different groups of friends is really important, because you learn so much from that. I mean, I have friends who, I have a whole group of girlfriends. They don't even live on this coast. They live on the West Coast, and we all keep in touch by text or WhatsApp group. And we talk a lot about mom stuff. They all have kids that are the same age. We talk about a lot of different things that face women. Our husbands have similar backgrounds. So I think that, connecting with them is so helpful sometimes. And I'm like, man, I don't understand something going on in my real life, So having that group is really important. I'm fortunate to have family, and I download on my brother all the time. My husband, of course, is a great source. So having different groups of people also, and spending time with people that uplift you, maybe someone you have a specific friend that you want to reconnect with, and you say, hey, let's do this together. In your case, it was training for the marathon, right? So, or let's take a trip together. Let's do something. I think those positive experiences, if you have enough of them or make an effort to make enough of them, they automatically drown things out. And then you don't have time to really post a post about getting, house cleaning or friend cleaning or whatever.
Well, I think one thing that I notice about social media is social media makes us feel this need that we have to have the biggest circle of friends ever, that we have to have birthday parties with 85,000 people, and the one solid piece of advice that my mom gave me when I was in my early teens, girls in their preteen and teen years, everything is the sky is falling, and you have trouble with friends and things, and my mom, said to me when I was in my early teens, she was like, if you have one person in this world that you can call a dear friend,
Yeah.
that's all you need. Everything else is just filler. Everything else is just filler. If you have one person that you can call morning, noon, and night, that always has your back, always is in your corner, that's truly all the amount of people that you need. Everything else is just icing on the cake. And we live in a world where I think people, because of social media, is, you know, you have to have weddings where you have 18 bridesmaids, and
the expectations are just
out of whack
and out of control.
And I just, you know, over the years I've kind of whittled down. I mean, I have acquaintances and I have people that are in the outer circle. But those who actually really know what's going on behind the scenes is like, I can probably count on both hands. And it's because I would much rather have an hour-long conversation with somebody that it's mutually beneficial than many conversations with people that it's, you know, this deep or this meaningful. And so, you know, I think we get out of whack.
It's hard. And I think I like using social media too to just kind of, like, do you follow any funny sites? Like, I follow a lot of really funny accounts. And so, like, Scary Mommy, I love following Kevin Hart and The Rock. Those are they have the funniest skits. So I think also just sometimes if it's not working for you, just go to something that's going to lift you up and make you laugh. I mean, there's hilarious videos on social media. And thank goodness for those people that just make these videos of them sticking their tongue in a fan and, like, their kids falling off of a high chair. That's dangerous. But you know what I mean? I just think those moments where you can laugh and just forget about certain things that might be bothering you, or use it to your advantage, that's really what I think is so important and great about social media. And if younger kids and people who it really does affect can start using it more in that realm, I think it could be beneficial for them.
Yes, and I think it is beneficial. We have amazingly gone through almost an hour.
Time flew.
I mean, right?
Yeah. I don't even know what we talked about.
We gave a lot of good medical advice. Is what we
did.
Talked about.
Yeah, go to your doctor.
And your book. Before we wrap, where can people find you if they want to connect with you, if they want to learn more about the book?
So you can find me on all handles at ShilpiMD. So that's SHILPI and then MD. And my website, same name, www.shilpimd.com. Otherwise, you can find me Monday mornings on Fox 5 in DC. We're talking about all things medical, health trends, latest breaking medical news. And, you know, you can find me online, YouTube. I've got some videos too. So I'm out there.
Yes, you are. Very easy to find. Well, thank you so much. I adore you, and I'm so happy that you were on the show. Tune in next week where the Francis Friend Love Fest continues, where I have my dear friend Lauren Lawson Zeli, who is the spokesperson for Goodwill International, will be joining me. That is going to be a deep dive into the world of public relations, since she and I are public relations nerds. But thank you so much for tuning in. If you would like to leave comment or connect, please do. You can do so with the show on Twitter at LTP Brand Radio or on Instagram at Let's Talk Personal. I love it when you talk personally to me, and you do sometimes ad nauseum. You can connect with me on Instagram at Firestarter CEO or on Twitter at Your Firestarter. I am Frances. This is Shilpi. Thank you for connecting with us this week. Bye.
Bye.